Biden speaks to foreign leaders. Is a buyout in the offing? This and more tonight on Stupid O'Clock News Live. Just a little homage to Larry King, the great. He will be missed. Seriously, though, President Joe Biden has made his first calls to foreign leaders since taking office earlier this week. He spoke first with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, at first mistaking the young politician for that guy who draws Doonesbury. But after the correction was made, the two discussed the Keystone Pipeline. Then Biden placed a call to Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Biden offered Obrador $4 billion to help development in Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala, three countries known for sending illegal immigrants to the United States. Obrador was incredulous at first, thinking the offer an insult. A few minutes later, it's reported that Obrador called Biden back and said if he can make it $5 billion, those countries will sign over title and lease the land back. No word on how Biden will respond. That's the news. Let's start the show.
Okay, yay. And
I had to get my Larry King in there.
Yeah, get the Larry King in there. There's Dan and John back with us.
They're not red.
Well, his weren't always red. He had different suspenders for every show.
Somehow I always remember him having red suspenders.
Well, those are the ones that stick out in your mind.
Yes. Of course, I also like the Gravity Falls, that cartoon that was on Disney. Gravity Falls had this one episode with a wax museum, and one of the wax figures was Larry King, and they got in a big battle and they decapitated him, and then they melted all the wax figures, and they were all gone except for Larry King's head, which is hiding in the ventilation ducts in the house. Pops out every once in a while and says something.
Oh, yeah, Larry will be missed. He was with CNN when CNN was
good.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, they had a good start. Okay.
No, they did. As a matter of fact, I was working for a Fox affiliate during Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and Fox wasn't providing national coverage. Well, they're still not. Not to their Fox affiliate. No, their Fox affiliates have to piecemeal their own national footage 30 years later. You know, but as a local affiliate, a local Fox affiliate, we had to buy CNN's news to get our national and international news. And I'm telling you, it was dirt cheap at first, but boy, Desert Shield hit, Bernie, Larry, the whole gang, all of a sudden it started costing a bunch of money. And CNN was really doing well
Wolf,
then.
And Wolf Blitzer became a household name. He was the new Walter Cronkite. You know,
yeah,
those are some big shoes to fill.
They were. And you know, Wolf Blitzer actually did. He was maybe one of the last of the really good reporters that would actually go. You know, a lot of people don't know this about Walter Cronkite. He was on board the battleship Texas when America first got into World War II in North Africa. When the troops were going ashore in North Africa, he was reporting on it from the battleship Texas. They had set up a radio station on the battleship, for two reasons. One, they were transmitting messages to the Vichy French troops not to fight the Americans. Okay. Two, they were sending back news reports live, sort of, from North Africa.
And World War II. That's something kids can't understand today, that it took sometimes 2 weeks to find out who the president was.
Still does, but for a different
Wasn't that
reason.
that guy that just came through here on a train?
Yeah. Carl Witzman says it all went to heck when 24-hour news stations started. Too much time to fill with not enough news.
Well, it wasn't simultaneous, Carl. It wasn't until CNN finally got some competition, because CNN started out as 24-hour news. And then they added headline news so that people could watch any 30 minutes during the day and get their full
15 minutes. now?
I don't know. I haven't watched headline news in a long time because it went to a premium tier, and I'm like, really? Because it sucked in the latter years. But no, it wasn't until CNN got some national competition that they started ragging on stuff. And
Hey,
when
Joe.
you run out of things to say, just
Yeah.
shut up.
Joe, I want you to put CNN out of business with this.
Oh, I don't think I can come up with that much news.
No.
I'm tired.
Why not? CNN does, and they don't do anything.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hey,
That hurt.
I
hey,
need some
Mark-
aloe
I
vera.
Marvel
I think John
Comics
just lit a
does-
match and before it fully ignited, stuck it to the skin.
Hey, Marvel
No, he lit a
Comics
fart.
doesn't make up as much news as CNN does.
John lit a fart.
With eggs.
Oh, but yeah. I am not thrilled with any mainstream media anymore.
Yeah, even the BBC is getting a little lame.
Yes, but please don't resort to that old tired fake news.
No.
It's not fake. Problem is, people are getting confused between opinion, pundits, and the news.
Yes.
Mhm.
Watch the evening news if you want news. Watch CNN and Fox if you want rabid opinion, because that's 98% of what they're broadcasting right now is opinion pieces with political pundits and disgruntled former employees and anybody that they can get that'll put eyeballs on a screen. That's not news, folks. That's not news.
And Carl Witzman
News
has
is verifiable by multiple sources and usually best found at 6:30 in the evening Eastern time.
Yep.
Pick,
and Carl
pick any one of the networks. They're all fine.
Witzman said the trouble got to be when some journalists stopped reporting and started being commentators.
But those are not journalists.
Yeah.
They better not call themselves journalists either, because I'll stomp on their ass.
And
I hate pundits and opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. They all stink.
Oh, let me tell you. Back in Desert Storm, when they were doing all the parades,
Yeah.
and they would bring in, military experts to talk about what was going on in the parade, and they would have like the Army guy trying to tell everybody what type of airplane that was they were towing down the street in the parade,
Yeah.
and they'd get it wrong, and you're like, oh God.
Yeah. Just cringeworthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I could go on national TV right now, that would be the one topic that I would talk about, and 5 minutes and it's over. I would explain the difference between opinion crap and true journalism and how to tell the difference. And let's not mistake the two ever again.
Yeah.
There's
Now-
no such thing as fake news except from maybe like a Breitbart or some place that does
That's
have
fake news.
a
Yeah.
financial agenda. They are making money from a certain audience by feeding them a certain line of BS.
Yeah.
There is that. But do not call ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, or even Fox fake news.
Now, wait a
Because
minute.
Fox does have some news programming, but they are
Spanish American.
99% opinion.
Spanish American War. Okay. What was the
CNN
guy?
didn't cover that.
I know they weren't that old. But you were.
William Randolph Hearst.
Well, thank you. William Randolph Hearst had that famous line about "You provide the pictures."
Mike, I take
By the
offense to
war.
that.
Yeah.
I do funny news here, but that is my daily job. I am a journalist, so please.
yeah, I think he was talking about national,
He didn't specify.
but he was probably talking about national.
He says there hasn't been a true journalist. I
Oh,
disagree.
Lewis
I work with many good ones every day.
and that's one of the reasons Lewis is on the show doing news. And
Because I remember during Desert Storm, I was stationed in Berlin. I didn't get to go down to the desert. A lot of my friends did, so we were constantly watching. We had just gotten cable in the barracks, so we could actually see it. We had CNN, Sky, which is we had two different Sky networks. We had the English speaking Sky network and the German Sky network. There was a French Sky network too, but nobody watched that. And then what was the other one we had? We had one of the BBCs, and there was some German network. Well, I don't think it was Der Tagesspiegel, but it was one of those Spiegel or one of those. And Der Tagesspiegel in German literally translates out to the morning, the Daily Mirror. Okay. And we had that. We had one of the. I can't remember which one it was. There was one other one that was really good that I liked, and now I can't remember. Oh, we had a Reuters back then.
Well, when I was in the Navy, all we had was AFARTs, pal, and that was only when we were close to shore.
We had a AFN. That was all we had in Berlin for a long time, and you had to get that funky UHF antenna to pick it up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now,
our Radio Shack would get it and pipe it over the ship's speakers, and that was only for about 15 minutes every 4 hours.
Hey, there were times when the only way the Navy would get the news was, you know. And who was that used to start his show, the radio show, with that?
With the Morse code signal?
Yeah.
I remember the show, but I can't remember who it was.
Darn it, he's real famous. He did coverage of the Blitz in London during the early part of World War II. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea.
Murrow?
Was that Edward R. Murrow?
That's the name that springs to mind. I can't say that I'm right.
Yeah, if you're talking about who was broadcasting from the London Blitz, yeah.
Of course, wasn't Cronkite broadcasting from the Blitz?
No, not from London.
Yeah. Now, when Desert Storm started, I knew that we were going to have a buildup, so I went and bought VCR tapes. I mean, that was before DVDs. I went and bought VCR tapes. When the bombing started, I threw a tape in and hit record, and I recorded CNN.
CNN was forward observing for the artillery. That was how close they were. You got an Edward R. Murrow award.
That's Edward R. Murrow.
Yeah. And but yeah, and then a few days later, there was reporting that this such and such place was bombed and this place wasn't bombed. Yet here I'm seeing on CNN recording of it blowing up.
Yeah. Oh, what was the the Iraqi press guy he was sitting out there and he was saying, "Oh, we haven't seen the Americans," and there's like tanks rolling behind him. Yeah, we haven't seen the Americans in Baghdad. And there's like an M1 Abrams rolling by in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, Baghdad Bob.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, I'm just trying to remember here because
Carl Witzman's talking about Murrow reporting bombing from the rooftops of London. And Nick Tockert says, all I hear is the start of the Western Union story.
No, the song Western Union.
Oh, Murrow was also at CNN or at CBS. Excuse me.
Yeah. Murrow put CBS on the map.
Which Murrow?
Edward R.
Edward R. Yes.
He made his biggest. Edward R. Murrow made his biggest impact when he took on when he took on McCarthy.
Yes.
And that almost killed him. But he won. He finally proved that McCarthy was ate crap nuts.
Oh, I could have told you that.
Yeah.
But nobody dared say that back in the 50s and when McCarthy was running amok.
One person who did. There's one person who did, Lewis, and I guarantee you that she had more balls than the five of us combined, and that was Lucille Ball.
Well, she was defending her Desi.
It was, yeah. That made sense. And a love of a good woman can go a long way.
Yeah.
By the way, I
Well, a
apologize.
red-headed woman can turn people in place.
I can. I'd like to apologize for being late. I was spending time with family,
Well, as you should.
and we were playing Jackbox stuff. And I was like, you know what? I know it's 11 o'clock, but I think we can get a couple more rounds in. So we did, and it was a lot of fun. Well,
you missed my Larry King imitation.
And Brian Moore says, wasn't Edward R. Murrow the CBS Evening News before Walter Cronkite? Did Cronkite?
You know,
I don't know.
I don't remember him having the anchor spot. I know he was the news manager, and he was news manager all the way up until Walter Cronkite started as the anchor. But
He
that was actually a
director
little
of
before my
Talks and
time,
Education.
And then he says also Walt Kelly took on McCarthy in his Pogo comics.
Well, yeah.
Hey, everybody, look at my new
There's something
headphones.
to be said for a courageous clay figure.
Yeah.
These are so bliss. They're such nice headphones. I'm so happy I bought these.
Got you some new cans?
Oh yeah, no, I got me some Audio Technica MX40s. They're fantastic. I wanted to get Sennheisers, the HD280s, which is what I always get, but the HD280s were sold out, and the guy there offered. He was like, "The Audio Technicas, man, they're pretty much the exact same thing. They're exact same price. It's just a different brand." I said, "Okay, cool." And no, let me tell you, these honestly, if they last as long as my old Sennheisers have lasted me in the past, they might make me switch brands, because these definitely have a better response rate frequency wise than my Sennheisers ever had. I've been using these all morning. I was listening to some Fleetwood Mac earlier with these. I was listening to some Ministry, Devo, a few other artists. I mean, they're just fantastic. I put on some Village People earlier while wearing these, like Renaissance era Village People too, not like YMCA era. And these things kick so much ass. I love them, and they're just so soft on my ears. It's great. Sennheisers have always been really tight, and these are nice and soft. They're very comfortable. I like these a little bit more so far. They need to have the build quality. They need to be able to last. If they do not last as long as the HD280s, I won't give a shit.
Yeah, I use Audio Technica in the studio, but in the field, like I was out there shooting today, I use these Sony digitals, and I keep going back and forth whether or not I want to replace the ear cups. Almost all the vinyl has finally flaked off, so I may just leave it at cloth, because it really is comfortable.
Yeah,
but
I had the set of headphones that I mixed all 7 of my albums with. All the vinyl had flaked off by the time I ever started doing the music. So and I thought I was going to have to throw them away. They were going to be ruined, and then I went ahead. I had to use them, and I go, "This is even better than the vinyl. It does. I don't sweat as badly." Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what's great about the frequency response on these too is that not only can I hear y'all in a much higher clarity than I could have with those $20 Sonys I was using previously, I can also hear Dan roboting like crazy.
Well, I like my new in-ear monitors.
I don't like in-ear. I don't
like anything in ear. It always gets so tiring and itchy, and
Well, I like these.
I hate in-ear. Studio cans are the way to go.
Now I'll disagree with you there.
Over the ear cans.
If I could get
over the ear,
Bose that are on ears
conduction headphones, like I used to have to use with the walkie-talkie.
I've got those. I've got those bone induction earphones, and I only use them when I work out. They're great for working out. because you can hear if somebody's talking to you while you're listening to something.
I spent $300 on these Bose on ears, and they're comfortable and everything, but I just like my ears being surrounded.
Yeah.
You know,
those Bose on ear ones, I bet they're great for flights.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the only time that I use these is when I need Bluetooth.
I had a pair of Bauer Wilkins on-ear headphones. They were some of the best on-ear headphones I'd ever purchased. I prefer over-the-ear, but these I needed them to be small and compact and something that I can use when I was working I was working at a factory, or not factory. I was working at a warehouse at the time, and I needed some on-ear headphones because they didn't allow over-the-ear for safety reasons. You need to be able to hear sort of the things that were going on around you. Those were allowable. You didn't have to have in-ear, but you can have on-ear. I said, okay, I'm going to buy these. They were $120. They were fantastic. I loved them. They were awesome. I bought them out of the Magnolia department. The only reason that I got them for $120 was because I worked at Best Buy, so I got a huge discount at the time, right? Here was the problem with them. The only problem with them, they were stolen. That was literally it. I remember.
Wait a minute. They were stolen from you, or you bought stolen merchandise?
From me. They were stolen from me. That's the only thing I don't like about
them. They're not there anymore.
Exactly.
The Army has a new...
I want to. Well, I just want to say that to the because I know they're not watching this, so I really don't care. But to the person who stole them from me, I'm glad that you were born as a man, because I'm going to beat your fucking ass if I ever see you again.
The Army has a new mine detector, and it is actually a mine detector because it has ground penetrating radar built into it, plus metal detection. So you can actually find a landmine and tell the difference between a landmine and all the other metal crap on a battlefield.
But can it detect can it detect like active material?
What do you mean active materials, like explosives and stuff like that?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have a chemical sniffer in it, but they're working. That'll probably be one of the next things.
I would say that would be a little bit more important than just being able to detect the shape of a thing.
Not really, because most landmines all have the same thing. They have a flat bottom, which means when you put them in the hole, there is a definite radar target that you can pick up.
I mean, so does Joe Dog, but I mean, you wouldn't mistake him for a landmine.
But
sorry,
the one
Joe,
thing I hate about them, these are the headphones that the new Army mine detector has.
Which
are probably these are the Sonys, and they are probably the most uncomfortable.
They look it.
And let me see.
Well, they're designed to be ergonomic, and anytime I've ever dealt with anything ergonomic, they've never been comfortable ever.
Yeah, not to my body. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't understand ergonomic keyboards.
Except me. Yeah.
I don't understand ergonomic keyboards. I've never understood an ergonomic keyboard ever in my life. I've tried using them. They just don't. No, I like.
Touch type?
What?
Do you touch type? Did you ever learn to touch type without looking at the keys?
No, yeah, no.
I'm the only person that they're good for.
Well, no, I type without looking at the keys all the time. But if I don't have a flat, like Type M style keyboard, I get lost instantly. I need to be able to feel where the keys are based off of that design. I need to know where they are. I can't, but the ergonomic keyboards, they feel so weird because the keys are shaped so weirdly that I get lost instantly. I can type without looking at my keyboard. But that's the thing is I grew up on IBM Type M keyboards. That's why I really like my mechanical keyboards. I really wish I had one. I don't have a mechanical, unfortunately. I have a membrane. But I grew up on Type M mechanical keyboards, like the old school ones. Like Dan, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say a mechanical keyboard. Old like C64 stuff.
Yeah,
that's the kind of shit I grew up on. That's the kind of keyboards I like. When they switched over to
knows how to chisel stone.
They switched over to the membrane keyboards years ago, and I've hated them ever since. I hate my membrane keyboard I have now, I want a mechanical one with Cherry XM switches, but they're expensive.
I don't normally like membrane keyboards, but the new Apple keyboards, this thing is so nice. You barely touch the key, and it's got a good return, good feel to it. When I go to my laptop now, the laptop feels like mush. This is a very crisp feel and very, very easy on the fingers. So
I do want to say this. I normally don't like those really thin chiclet style keyboards. Never like those.
Well, ever. I mean, it's better than any chiclet keyboard I've ever used.
I was going to say when I was working at Best Buy, and when I was not only when I was working at Best Buy, when I was working at Girls Incorporated, I would have to deal with Apple computers all the time, especially when I worked at Girls Incorporated because that's all they had. They had some Dell desktops, but most of the time with the stuff that I was doing, I was working with their Apple laptops or the G4 we had in the back that I did all the graphic design and videos on. And I got really used to that keyboard very fast because it is a very good keyboard.
I bought in Iraq.
Not like the old style chiclets at all.
I bought an Iraqi sponge keyboard. It's a USB plug-in keyboard.
Ew.
And it's got the bubble keys, the spongy bubble keys. So the whole thing is basically sealed.
Oh,
like kind of like those keyboards.
So what you're talking about, John, is that's a variation on membrane keyboard, but you don't have actual keys, you just have the bubbles.
Basically,
it's even worse. Yeah.
But
guys, can I answer Nick real quick?
Sure.
Nick asked me a good question, and he says which modern journalists do I think are the best?
Oh yeah. Let me put
on
that
TV. Shepard Smith, Christiane Amanpour. Okay, they are flawless as far as their research and their balance. In print, Bob Woodward. I mean, he was one of the
anybody that can actually tell you the story without adding an opinion.
Yeah.
And
locally, I don't know if you guys ever watch CBS News, but if you watch CBS News, one of their regional reporters is Jamie Yuccas. I worked with Jamie Yuccas way back in Florida. We worked together at the NBC affiliate down in Florida in Fort Myers, and I knew that she was going to go places, and boy, if she didn't, because she went from Fort Myers to Minneapolis, from Minneapolis to New York City, from New York City to network. CBS snapped her up. She was a national correspondent within 2 years, and now they've located her out to LA, and they send her everywhere from Australia, the whole Western US, and she is rock solid. Her latest interview was with John Fogerty. I mean, she can do entertainment reporting, but she can do famine and plague and the Australian fires. You know, she did the Australian fires last winter. You know,
that's awesome. That's good. Hey, you know what? Round of applause for her. Seriously, that's some awesome stuff right there.
She is incredible, and she is so humble. I mean, you know, she still takes my calls. You know, and I was her shooter, what, 10, 11 years ago? She will be an evening news anchor within 5 years.
Somewhere.
Well, do you think
which will be a terrible waste because she's much better as a field reporter. But
let me ask you this. If she called you and said, "Hey, Lewis, there's an opening for a shooter at my network, and you would be going with me."
I have already told her that if she ever, you know, not full time, but I said, if you are ever in this area and you're short a shooter, call me. I'll be there. And she loved it. She said, absolutely.
I think what Joe Dog is asking is she ever called you for a more traveled position?
Yeah, a permanent. You were her shooter for round the world. Would you take the job?
That's a hard one because at my age,
Yeah.
it gets a little hard schlepping the gear. But yeah. If I only lasted a year, I think I would do it. My passport's up to date. Oh, speaking of which, where is it?
And now you have the COVID stamp.
Ready to go at them? No, but I do have my COVID vaccination card,
That you keep with the passport.
which I'm
yeah,
keeping.
yeah,
with
have
the
to,
passport
you have to.
because
Speaking of which,
I'm telling you, to travel, you are going to need to show proof of COVID vaccination.
hey, Lewis, COVID update. How are you and the wife doing?
He
Much,
looks a lot
much better.
fucking
Thank
better.
I had a really sore arm Thursday night after the second shot. I'm not sure why it was more sore, but I ran a very low grade fever Friday morning for about 3 hours, and that's it.
Lewis, I can say this for certain. I mean, literally, even just compared to Thursday, you look a lot better.
Well, thanks. I feel so
Like
much
the color is back in your face.
and I was working all day, so
You had, I mean, literally the last few shows where you were dealing with the COVID, like you had no color in your face. You were, I mean, outside of your nose, you were yellow.
I know what was with that. I looked like a drunk. My nose was red. It looked like Bob Johnson.
It was because of the disease. And you
And
don't
I
have that.
You went
You don't
there.
have that.
Oh,
You don't have that going on right now. You don't have that going on right now. You look fantastic. So I'm glad. I knew instantly when I came in here. Was like, oh shit, Lewis is doing a lot better than he was.
Yeah, I feel a whole lot better, guys.
Okay.
Um,
What Skunk said, you look so much better today that I didn't even think about the COVID until Joe mentioned the passport COVID stamp and you pulled out your,
Yeah.
thing.
Skunk.
Now we retested Thursday and Friday morning. Results came back. We are still showing positive. So we're
not out of the woods yet.
Self-isolate.
Yeah.
But they said you could show positive for months, but as long as you're asymptomatic and it's been 2 weeks since your symptoms started and they have not recurred, you're okay. I'm like, I'm still going to wear a mask. I'm still going to socially distance.
Still be careful. Yes.
Did your wife get the vaccine?
But I've already had COVID and I've had both shots. So if anybody's protected, I'm really hoping that it's me.
Yeah.
And your wife got the shots too, right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what brand those bone
I got the
conduction
Pfizer shot.
headset that you've got.
Aftershocks.
Aftershocks. I'm looking at them now. $160 on Amazon.
I think that was about what I paid. Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about headphones.
Yeah. Headphone, microphones. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's aftershocks with an
Talk
X.
about- My wife calls that a spaghetti moment.
Or not an
It's-
X, it's a KZ. KZ.
It's KZ,
Aftershocks with a KZ, yeah. I knew they were spelled weird. Yeah, and I've got, let me look at I have I don't know which one of these I have. I don't know if I have the Aeropex or the Air. I'm pretty sure I have the Air.
But you don't
The
like
one-
them.
No, I love them. I wear them when I work out.
Okay.
I wear them when I work out, but I don't like wearing them when I'm wanting to listen. If I'm wanting to listen to music, I want some quality studio cans. I want to listen to music because I want, when I put my headphones on, to feel like, especially right now, I want to feel like I'm in a studio. Or when I'm listening to music, I want to feel like I'm in a nightclub. I wear those when I wear my bone conduction headphones. When I wear those, my Aftershocks, it's when I'm working out or I'm at work or something like that, and I'm like lifting totes or so. I used to wear them when I loaded totes all the time. I don't load totes as much anymore because of my current position, so I don't wear them as much at work anymore. I only wear them when I go like to the gym or something like that. I'm usually listening to a podcast because I can't listen to music with them. They have no bass. I mean, they have.
That's true.
Technically, they have bass, but it feels really weird to listen to really bassy music. So if I'm listening to like just as an example, if I'm listening to rap, right? If I'm listening to rap music, if I'm listening to some Ludacris or some 50 Cent or something like that, they just rattle the sides of my head on my temples. It tickles and it feels weird. I don't want to listen to them. I just put on a podcast. I want to listen to people talking with them. And then it just feels like, your buddy sitting right next to you telling you a story. So I'll put on like F+.
That would be what I would be using them for, would be like this, where it's only people's voices.
Or an audiobook. An audiobook would be fantastic. I don't listen to many audiobooks, but I've only listened to one audiobook, and it was hilarious. The audiobook was hilarious not because of the book. I've read the book. All right. The audiobook was hilarious because they cut shit out because they had to make it fit on a cassette tape.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because the audiobook was based off of the novelization for Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which was a movie where they kept constantly changing the script. So the script they got that they based the novel off of, and then eventually the audiobook was different from the movie. And that happens anyway. They'll do a change in the middle of shooting or something like that. Mm-hmm. But with Nightmare on Elm Street 5, it was even worse because they were working on the script while they were shooting the movie for multiple reasons. So I have a truncated version of a novel that's a truncated version of a film that was already going through production issues in the first place. And I love the film. I thought the novel was pretty cheesy because of the way they had to write some stuff in just to make it work. And then the audiobook is even worse. And the really bad part about that is the audiobook actually has Robert Englund doing the voice of Freddy Krueger. And it's obvious he phoned it in. And I mean by literally, I swear to God, he did this over the phone because that can only explain the audio problems that he was having with his voice in this thing. It sounds horrible. It's hilarious. That's the only audiobook I've ever listened to, and it was awesome just because of how bad it was.
Listen to the one for my last book.
Well, I was gonna say if I had to listen,
seriously, that guy nailed the lead character just absolutely perfectly.
Well, this was the exact opposite of that. It was really bad, and if I had to list it onto other things on my scale of things that are really bad, I would probably put it somewhere between having to eat eggs because I'm allergic to eggs and they'll kill me, and I'd probably put it between that and having to watch Firefly.
Oh. Wow.
Well,
by the way, Skunk.
Anyway,
Skunk. I appreciate you trying to help Thursday night. Your friend never contacted me, but thankfully, my original actress finally answered back and showed up today. So,
well, that was the thing. It wasn't my friend. It was. I asked him. Right. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Do you know anybody?" Because he's
no. I mean, what I meant was, I appreciate you trying to help me out.
Oh, I understand. It was a local rapper, and I was like, "Okay, he's in the entertainment industry, and he's a black guy. I'm sure he's going to." And this is a really funny story. I want to tell the story because it's really funny. He's a black dude, so I was like, "Okay, he will know people who are in the entertainment industry." Who were also of Islander or African descent, right? Now I'm trying to be polite about this. I'm trying to be professional, right? So I message him and I'm like, "Hey man, I know you because you rap in the local area and stuff like that, and you know other creative people. Do you happen to know any young ladies of color that would be interested in being in a project? It's a historical project that's being filmed. It's like a documentary. I can't exactly remember what the subject is about. I know you explained it to me, but that was months ago. Yeah. But I was telling him, it's kind of like a documentary. There's gonna be dramatizations in it, and their principal actress, she's she's caught COVID, and we don't know if she's going to be able to make it or not. Do you know anybody that might be interested? And he fixated on the young woman of color thing that I said. It's like, what are you, born in the 1930s? You could just say you need a hot black chick, dude.
Well, let's see.
And then he told me, he had somebody who was interested, and I said, okay, awesome. I sent back the thing you sent me, and I think that's what threw them off, because I quoted you specifically, and they went, oh, well, then they don't need her. And I was like, no. She needs to go ahead and message him just in case. She's going to be second, she's going to be like up to bat if this other person can't do it because of the COVID. So go ahead and message Lewis. And he was like, all right, I'll tell her. And apparently she took that the wrong way or something. I don't know.
Oh, man.
She's understudy.
Well, sorry if I got you in trouble.
No, I don't think you got me in trouble. I don't even think you got him in trouble. I just think she went, well, I'm going to be the understudy. I don't give a shit then. I want to be the lead role. And I understand that. If somebody was asking me for help and then I found out I wasn't going to be the lead role in something, I'd probably be like, screw you too. But
yeah, the video is on the 6888. And this is a unit of black wax that were trained to sort mail. And they were trained here at Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. When they got here, they were terribly, terribly mistreated by the locals.
Of course.
But of course, they did their patriotic duty. And by the time they got shipped overseas, they got to Birmingham, England, and were treated completely differently. So these are women who were brave and shipped overseas back when women weren't even allowed in the Army yet. It started out as WAAC, Women's Army Auxiliary. They could be with the Army, but not in the Army. And these were the first women who were ever allowed to serve in the Army. And this was a unit of nothing but black women. And they were trained to be postal clerks. They had a 2-year backlog of mail going to the soldiers in the field. 2-year backlog that they cleared up in 3 months. They did it so fast, then they shipped them over to France to do the same thing there. Okay? So this is the young lady that we actually did. This is supposedly in Birmingham, England. So we found this bed and breakfast locally and recorded this there. She did a really good job.
That's your actress?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's very beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, she did a great job.
Awesome.
Is this the one Marcus found for you?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
But if it had been, then that means that she's probably our people.
Yeah.
Invite her to con anyway.
Well,
yeah,
she's
really.
actually she has done little theater. This is her first on-camera work. She's actually a nurse at Erlanger.
Okay.
Lewis, I will say just one thing about the set. One, you have an American light switch and an American outlet in the background.
Yeah, I know. There were certain things that we just can't do anything about. I'm gonna vignette it. I shot it in 4K, so it was ultra sharp.
Right.
And I'm going to vignette the background. So
2, there's a punch pad in the background for the door.
I gotta
punch key.
yeah.
I gotta talk about this.
See the shot. I never changed the shot. I shot it in 4K so that I can digitally zoom in and pan and scan. So it'll be very easy for me to replace that keypad with a piece of art or anything. So
I gotta talk about this. So last night we were doing video club, right? Scrubhouse Video Club, and we were watching martial arts tournament movies. That was what we voted on this week, was martial arts tournament movies. So the movies that we ended up voting on, the movies that we ended up watching were, the first one was The Big Brawl, otherwise known as Battle Creek Brawl, which is a Jackie Chan film. And
Which
the second,
is hilarious. Yeah.
The second one we ended up watching was Blood Fist with Don the
Which
Dragon.
is also hilarious.
Now, going back to the first one, though, we couldn't figure out what time period this movie was set in. We couldn't. It was driving us to the wall.
Too many anachronisms, huh?
Way too many. There's a scene where I swear to God they went to a roller disco at first, and then I figured out it was kind of like a rollerball sort of thing where they were doing like a quad skating relay race. They're doing this quad skating relay race while they're wearing the shiniest like 1970s jumpsuits I've ever seen. This film was done in the 80s, by the way. 1970s shiny jumpsuits, right, as they're skating around and on 1970s looking quads, like quad skates with four wheels and everything. They really look like they're ready for the roller disco in front of these 1930s like tea buckets and stuff like that. It was the weirdest thing. But what really threw me off was the later scene where Jackie Chan has to go talk to these mobsters about the fight that's going down in Texas. And he walks into this like 1970s Art Deco living room with a conversation pit. And I'm like, they didn't have
70s Art Deco?
Yeah, it was a 70s Art Deco thing with like...
Because Art Deco was the 30s.
30s, yeah.
No. Like, or is it Art Nuevo? Is that what I'm thinking of? The thing where it's the really cheesy stuff, right? That they had going on in the 70s. Like,
Gaudy.
Yeah, exactly. There was a gold wire peacock being used to cover up the fireplace in lieu of a regular fire gate. They had a conversation pit with zebra-colored cushions.
Oh, that's Jungle Room at Graceland.
It's what it looked like, right? It looked like that sort of thing, but it was a conversation pit. It had the round couch that went around like
the Jungle Room has a conversation pit and all kinds of animal prints everywhere.
Yeah, but that's not the 1930s.
No,
with like the table that looks like the table from Men in Black in the middle. That's all like I always thought that stuff is Art Deco, like the weird table that's like one piece, but it's just like one shape, where it kind of looks like an over elongated like vase or something like that. And that was the table in the middle of the room in the scene. It was very everything about this movie was very 70s, except for the clothes and the cars. The clothes and the cars were the only things that weren't 1970s. The clothes in the cars said it was the 30s, but everything else said it was the 70s. And the movie was filmed in the 80s, and I was very confused. And I finally looked it up, and supposedly this movie takes place in 1930s Chicago, and then eventually moves to 1930s Texas. And you couldn't tell the difference. You were sitting there, the whole entire movie was filmed in Texas. So
this is a Jackie Chan movie?
Yeah, it's a Jackie Chan movie called The Big Brawl or Battle Creek Brawl. It was not a very successful film. Jackie Chan maintains that the film was not successful because, and I quote, by the way, they wouldn't let him flip out of a car. He wanted to do a flip out of a car into a dojo or a restaurant or something. And the director was like, no, just get out of the car and walk in the building. That's stupid. Why do you want to flip out of a car? And he was just all like, nobody.
Because he can.
He goes, nobody pays money to see Jackie Chan walk. Yeah,
he's a very astute businessman.
Next week on Video Club, by the way, the theme was fire, and so I'm going to tell you the films in order of the one I want to watch the least versus the one I want to watch the most. I will tell you right now, I will watch all 5 of these films. They look fantastic, but in order from least to most, right? We have. What? Don't Go in the House, The Towering Inferno, Firestarter, Spontaneous Combustion, and Firestorm. Now, Firestorm, have you guys seen anything about this movie at all?
Is that the one with the football player?
Howie Long.
Yeah.
You're right. You're 100% right. So you've seen this movie, John.
Howie Long.
Howie Long started back when he was.
God.
You remember when he was in Broken Arrow with John Travolta and Christian
Yeah.
Slater?
He
was trying to
actually
get a
did
movie.
good in there.
He was a badass. Oh God, he was fucking awesome. Howie Long was the reason that I said if they ever make a Duke Nukem movie, he should be played by Howie Long, because Howie Long in that movie looks like Duke Nukem from the video games because he's buff as hell and he's got that awesome haircut.
You got the flat top haircut.
His flat top. Oh, he's badass. No, Howie Long plays a firefighter in this movie, right? But here's the reason why I bring this up. I've watched a trailer for this film recently, and I've never seen this movie before. We watched a trailer last night. I've been showing everyone this trailer. Obviously, I can't show it here on Stupid O'Clock. We'll get in trouble. But Howie Long, at one point in this movie, is riding a dirt bike. He's riding a dirt bike through a forest fire, right? And he's being chased by a pickup truck filled with convicts who are trying to kill him. And he one-handed, while riding a dirt bike, throws a chainsaw behind him into the windshield of the fire truck, or not the fire truck, but the pickup truck that's driving through the flames. He throws a chainsaw through a windshield one-handed while riding a dirt bike. And I just went, that's the most metal thing I've ever seen. It's so awesome. I want to watch this movie so bad.
The storyline is there's a huge fire in California, and they bring in a bunch of prisoners to help fight the fire alongside the professional firefighters. And I think Howie Long is like, I can't remember if he's a smoke jumper or just one of those troubleshooters.
He's a jumper. He's specifically a jumper. He's specifically a jumper because they start the trailer starts out with them jumping out of the helicopter, but the convicts that they bring in to help with the fire.
Prison Break.
They one of them is actually the one that started the fire in the first place, and B, it's a whole elaborate thing for Prison Break. They eventually dress up as firefighters and try to escape, but they get caught by Howie Long and his crew, and it looks like it's a really badass movie. Like, I really want to watch this film. You have no idea how much I want to watch this movie. I mean, any movie that has a chainsaw getting put through a windshield is awesome. But when that chainsaw is thrown one-handed while a dude is riding a dirt bike. By the way, did I mention there's a lady on the back of the dirt bike riding with him when he throws this chainsaw? Like, that's awesome. He also comes out of the water like Jason Voorhees and throws a fire axe at somebody or through like a lake. It's dope.
Hey, Scott Glenn's in that movie too.
It looks really super cool. William Forsythe's in it. There's a few other famous people in there too.
Do y'all want a virtual Halicon update?
Sure, why not?
Videos get taken down again?
Yep.
I was responsible for the last one. Which one got taken down this time?
One of the overnight movies.
That's public domain.
Evidently, the Alfred Hitchcock Hour got bought up by NBC Universal in the last few months, so they put a manual copyright claim on it. So I've had to delete it, and now that the manual copyright claim, they've also copyrighted claimed 30 seconds of each of the little movies in different places.
They can't do that.
They did it. It is blocked. It is blocked.
Fight those. What 30 seconds are they trying to claim?
Opening credits, end credits, one 10-second song in the middle of one of the movies. So I'm in the process.
Fight every single one of those. But to do take down the Alfred Hitchcock Presents one, go ahead and let that one go. Just delete that video and just let it go, because honestly, okay, I don't want to be an asshole, Joe.
Yeah.
But I will be. Just delete all those videos. Who gives a shit? Because those aren't what people go to HalicCon for.
Choose your battles. This is not the hill you want to die on.
Nobody's going to go to HalicCon.
They were filler anyway. It was a great idea, but they were filler anyway. I just delete them. Don't fight it.
Delete them. Don't fight it.
Remember.
Yes, exactly, Lewis. And
now, here's the thing. YouTube barely has 400 views.
I gotta pee.
For the whole weekend.
Uh-huh.
I ran on 3 Facebook pages. 2 of the Facebook pages combined don't have 80. The Halicon Fantasy and Horror Convention, 2,827 views.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I tried to go to the Chattacon thing today and see what was going on, and it was painful.
Painful ain't the word for it.
It I don't want to. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put it as starting to get a kidney stone.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those. That's not fun.
I'd rather have a kidney
That's
stone.
the low end of the scale of 1 to 10.
Hey, I can drink pickle juice and get rid of a kidney stone. Okay, that's.
I'd rather have a kidney stone. I love the Chattacon crew and all that.
Me too.
I mean, had they spent just a 30-minute conversation with me, we could have blown their convention out of the. They could have had a show that they could have blown out of the water, running across 5 social media platforms.
That, and I hate to say this, it's if you're not there with the people talking and having a good old time, it's just not the same. And I've even tried to go to the Chattacon StreamYard pages and talk, and it's just apparently none of my friends from the con can type. I don't know how many computer geeks do you have to get that can't carry on a keyboard conversation.
Well, okay. They're not all computer geeks, John. You know it.
Hey, I've made that joke before. 5,000 computer geeks at the convention, and they still can't get registration to run right.
Yeah.
The one year that Chattacon did get it to run right, though, it ran like a frickin' beaut, did it not?
It did.
I remember that. I remember going to Chattacon and one year, and it was the one year they didn't have any printer problems or nothing. And I zipped through the non-pre-registered line faster than the people that were in the pre-registered line because they were having to check and find where everybody's badge went. That was the only problem they had. It was human error. I went to the non-pre-registered line and zipped right through that shit.
The great year,
and that was one of the problems. That was one of the problems with registration. Was
it wasn't a computer issue, though.
They were having to tie in the pre-reg computer thing, which was .org or something like that. I can't remember. And then they had some sort of Chattacon page pre-registration that was a completely different system. And then they had the new credit card. Then they had the new credit card system they were trying to tie in, and then they had the on-site computers that was all 4 of these systems were supposed to be tied together.
They had no. I know which year you're talking about, John. I'm talking about the year where I went through the pre-register, and I didn't go through pre-register. I went through non-pre-register. They printed my badge up right then and there. It was all the people whose badges were pre-printed. They were having to go through and be like, "Oh, here's your badge." Yeah. Like they had to go through each one individually to try to find everybody's badges because they were pre-printed.
The problem,
one of the problems with that is they printed my badge when I got there because
one of the problems with that was we would print out the badges for pre-reg, so they already had their badge made up. Okay, we didn't have to make them up. The problem was we sorted them alphabetically, and the people that pre-registered couldn't tell us, "Oh, I didn't pre-register under my own name. I have a badge name." You know, we're looking for Bailey or something like that in the B's, and their con name is Astaroth. It's in the A's. You know, and
they should have known that.
Well,
they should have known that. Yeah.
One of the best one is they decided not to print the pre-reg badges to save money. They didn't want to print their pre-reg badge until the person showed up.
That makes sense.
I don't make no damn.
I remember that year. That was
also the year the guy deleted one letter in the printer code.
That was the year that John was talking about, where it was like everything was supposed to be tied in together, and it was a fucking nightmare.
It came untied.
But to give them credit, I saw some of those guys work on that for like 30 hours trying to get everything working right.
Yeah, then nobody ever gave up. That was the good thing.
And then you'd get the days. It'd be like Thursday. They'd be testing it. Everything worked fine. Just everything was doing what it was supposed to be doing. The credit cards were taking credit card numbers on 9 yards. And then day of, 1,500 hours. Everybody's lined up, ready to go. Nothing worked.
They pissed the guy off the night before, and he went in and deleted one letter in the code.
I don't know about all that, Lewis. You had a weird look on your face. You have a weird.
Well, I was trying to answer Carl, and I don't have the ability to comment.
Yeah, Carl says
I can do the private chat, but I can't comment in the public because I'm just not going to go through all that crap. But this is only a guess, Carl. But I would think that these Alfred Hitchcock movies were part of a catalog that NBC bought, and I believe that if part of the catalog reverts to public domain, when they renew the copyright, then it encompasses the entire catalog. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. I think once it hits public domain, you've had 40 years to make money off this shit. You ain't made enough money in 40 years. Make better shit.
I've always been of the opinion that if somebody puts out some music or something like that.
What did I tell you about opinions earlier?
And you go out and buy that CD, you now own a piece of their music. You've invested in their company.
Yeah, but I understand though that, okay, yes, I buy that record, okay, and I own that music, but now I can't go to an auditorium and charge people to listen to that music. That's where the copyright infringement comes in. Now,
you invested in it.
Hold on. The saving grace for Joe Dog is that he did not monetize it. Nobody paid to see these movies.
Right.
So that is his saving grace. That's why he probably didn't get a cease and desist. It's probably why he didn't get a copyright infringement letter from a lawyer. He just got a notice from YouTube saying, they told us and we had to pull it.
I have a question. I have a question for you. I wasn't here earlier, dude, so I missed it. What did you say about opinions?
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. They all stink.
Okay, don't talk about my asshole. Okay, I've got a hemorrhoid the size of a fucking little dog's head, and it's very annoying.
Preparation H, baby. It's not just good for bags under the eyes.
I went actually to the store and I looked at Preparation H and I saw that it was all like for suppository use, and I was just all like, you know what? No, I'm done. I'm not even gonna. I don't. No.
They have ointment.
They have a cream. They have
an ointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did say on there. It said for best results, and I was like, no, I'm not shoving anything. Not right now. Not right now.
Because there wasn't a furry costume involved.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I didn't. You know what? I did freak out my dad earlier when me and my stepbrother's wife, at the same exact time during one of the Jackbox games we were playing, we put blowjob down as an answer, and my dad was just like, "Nope, I'm not thinking about it. Nope, I'm not."
It's a funny story.
Involving blowjobs?
Recruiters for the Army, when they were trying to get the fat kids to join the Army, and they couldn't get them to lose weight before they went to the MEP station, would spread Preparation H over their stomach and then wrap them in saran wrap.
Why?
Which it would draw out the moisture from the fat.
And totally dehydrate them.
Long enough to get them onto a scale. To get them underweight by just a few ounces so that they could type in on the paperwork, this is their official weight. And then give them a bottle of Gatorade.
But the thing is, within a couple of weeks at boot camp, they definitely lost the weight, didn't they?
Fort Benning, Georgia? Oh, hell yeah. The mosquitoes didn't drain it off of them.
I booted in Orlando, Florida. Oh, God. That was the hottest summer ever.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was Battleground.
I don't even want to know.
There was a movie called Battleground.
Yes, I've seen that.
Carl, darling,
Not in
Carl.
person, but,
Cattails are one thing, but let me tell you, foxtails and horsetails are another thing entirely. Especially the horsetails, because pony
Thank God
play.
you're not cosplaying an alligator.
Pony play is definitely a thing that exists. My camera, because I want to be more comfortable.
Oh,
I'm going to kick back and relax during this show.
Well, you should.
By the way, Skunk, my wife seemed impressed with you for some reason. She said, Skunk was really nice to me when we did that video. I said, oh, well, he's a nice guy. Talks a lot. He's a nice guy.
That's surprising.
Strangely enough, Skunk,
you have
I hear from a
lot
lot of people that you're a very nice guy.
People that meet me for the first time people that meet me for the first time specifically, the first time they meet me, they're like, he's a total asshole. And the reason why is because I'm a very standoffish person if I meet you and I don't know who you are. And especially because it's just been my life that I'm not going to get into all the details, but I mean, one time I met a dude and it didn't go down very well. It went down with the kind of way that like it just didn't go down very well. That's all I'm going to say. It was not a good experience. So I'm very standoffish when I meet new people. The difference being was that I knew who she was, So yeah, and also she wasn't acting really weird. She was very polite, which was awesome. But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much, and thank her. She's a very lovely lady.
Thank you. I'm rather fond of her.
Yeah, she's adorable.
She puts up you can imagine I'm probably not the easiest person to live with. I have certain opinions and tend to get riled up on little topics.
Yeah, well,
attacking my profession.
Have you met me?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Hey, Joe.
I just heard Joe groan.
I messaged you a picture on Facebook Messenger. Okay. Just because I don't think I actually want to add that to the show. I just wanted to show you why. That's
better.
Oh, you didn't put it in stupid o'clock, damn it.
No, I don't want to do that either.
Don't.
It's that bad. Uncle Carl's humor page, maybe. But
okay, well, put in Uncle Carl's humor page because I want to see what you're talking about, you lunatic.
Definitely, Uncle Carl's page will get a kick out of it.
All right.
Let me guess. It's one of those fox tails that came up earlier. So I know exactly how this appliance is supposed to be carried around in costume. So,
yeah, Carl, I apologize if I've offended your page. I'm not sure that's possible, but this may do it.
There's a cat with a dick on its face on the fucking front page right now. What do you think?
Hey, I almost offended people with a picture I posted.
Okay, it is on Carl's page.
I'm terrified now.
What?
To try to figure out what you posted that offended people on Carl's page.
Meatloaf.
Oh, that. Oh, God. Let it go. Let it make like the fucking Disney song and let it go.
Hey, you know what? Next HalloCon, I'm bringing a big old pan of meatloaf just for Joe.
John, are you going to get that meatloaf from the Cheesecake Factory?
Is that where it's from?
Yeah.
Yes. That's where
I'm going to go. You know what? You've inspired me, John. Here's the thing, John. You won't remember this. You won't remember this come October, right? You won't remember this, but I will. I will, and I will. Go
I
to the
don't think I
Cheesecake
forget
Factory.
meatloaf.
I will go to the Cheesecake Factory and I will order that plate of meatloaf and I'll bring it directly to Joe Dog. I'll bring it to Joe Dog during Captain's Mass. How awesome would that be? You'd be in the middle of you'd be in the middle of everybody else is having feast, and then you don't even get a plate. You don't even get a plate. It's Julie comes in with that fucking meatloaf and a fucking styrofoam tray. and you know what the best part about that is that if I gave Julie a styrofoam tray with that meatloaf from the Cheesecake Factory, she would look down at it and go, "What the hell is this?" Even she would be offended by that.
Yeah. Oh. Whew. Damn.
You know it's
The dog
bad if
ain't
it
in the-
offends. You know it's bad if it offends Joe.
The dog ain't in the room.
It was me, damn it. Whew.
Okay,
so Dixon has struck.
In the news, okay, Disney World has closed the Hall of Presidents so that they can add an animatronic figure of Joe Biden. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Now here's the thing. A lot of people are saying that they should go ahead and close it because apparently when certain presidents show up in the Hall of Presidents presentation, the crowd starts booing. Now, somebody has joked that they should add animatronic Secret Service agents to protect some of the presidents. and someone made the joke about we should have like 20,000 animatronic National Guard troops lined up in front of the stage.
Carl, yeah, it did. Oh, and Chris Walker saying she would totally say that in exactly that way. You nailed it, Skunk. Oh,
hey, Carl, I just posted something in response to your comment in your secret humor group there, and I hope that your friend, what was her name? Your friend's name was Susie. I hope your friend Susie enjoys the link that I sent from loveplugs.co.
that just sounds bad to begin with.
It was it's as bad as you think it is.
Yes, it's worse. Probably we just don't know it.
I sent her to I sent her and Carl and also John, who was also on that post, since he was the one who posted it first, to the tail section of loveplugs.co.
Oh,
and it's amazing, but I don't even have to look to know exactly what it is.
I've got one for you. Did you see the post where they started putting the names of the cows on the yogurt?
Oh
yes.
God, yeah, that was hilarious.
And then some girl says, I notice how they named all the cows traditionally girl names. There's a deep connection between misogyny and consuming animals. One guy replied back, says, I feel like yogurt from a bull wouldn't quite taste right.
No, that's...
And nobody has yet pointed out that no cows are actually harmed by being milked.
No, it actually helps.
Carl made the joke about that, being all like, "Hey, let's give her the benefit of the doubt that they don't know that those cows aren't transgender. Maybe one of them wants to be called Chuck." And I said, "Oh yeah, no, he will definitely. Good news, he will definitely get them to be named Chuck, and he'll be sitting right next to Sirloin and Shank."
Are you assuming that cow's gender identity? Shame on you! Shame on you!
By the way, anybody who knows me knows that I'm very, very pro transgender and everything else. But come on, get a sense of humor. It's like Dave Chappelle said. That shit's pretty funny.
Oh, have you ever seen the post where the girl posts, who would kill cows in this day and age? Why don't you just go to the grocery store and buy it like everybody else?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I have actually seen Actually, I have heard.
What was it?
I have
Why do we need farmers when you can just buy food at the grocery store?
Well, it was my favorite is the billboard. It's I believe it was made by PETA. That it's got like dogs and cats at one end,
Yeah,
and then like,
where do you draw the line?
at the other end? It's like chickens and pigs, and in between is everything that you could possibly think of. There's like a badger. There's like a horse, and there's
a bunny rabbit.
like a bunny rabbit. It's like, where do you draw the line? And somebody was like, right about here.
Yeah, that's where
And there's a couple of them that I've
That's a hard
switched. The
question
rabbit
now.
used to be on that side of the dog. Yeah.
The dog,
Yeah.
the dog's on the wrong side.
My
Hey,
favorite-
John.
my whole entire favorite thing about that is that in my particular case, it's like, where do you draw the line? I'm like, way far to the left, way far to the left. They're animals. They're all food. I'll eat them all. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll eat dog.
Peter, we should eat them tasty animals.
100 years ago, you could buy horse at the butcher shop.
I'm not gonna eat my I'm not gonna eat my dog or cat.
100 years
Those
ago.
are my animals. Those are my pets. But if somebody else is gonna cook that up and cover it in teriyaki sauce, hell yeah, I'll eat it. I don't care. I'll eat rat.
John, I saw one today that was so funny. Apparently, some yogurt company is bragging about the fact that they've got cows and their cows are actually making the milk that the yogurt is made from, and they've even got the names of the cows listed on the jar.
That's what I was talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, this cow, this milk that made this yogurt comes from Bessie and Emily and et cetera.
And then they said it was like sexist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
I didn't realize that's what y'all were talking about.
Yeah. And do you really want yogurt made from a bull?
Nope.
It may not taste good.
Nope.
There's somebody in PETA has been going to the butcher shop and putting name stickers on the meat cuts.
Oh, I don't mind.
In the butcher section. Said, my name is Chloe. Says, I was killed so that you could eat a steak. How do you feel about that? And somebody posted underneath it, says, this would be like those Coca-Cola bottles with your name on it that you'd go through and try and find one with your name. What?
Yeah, well, I want to go
I love
find
my
that
people.
steak with Lou on it. Better be a thick ribeye too.
Hey, try and find two. One for
Oh,
Lou, one for Al. Then you can have a luau.
Oh man, well, hey, that's worse.
Good night, everybody.
That was
so you know.
I was gonna say that's worse than the joke that I was gonna make, which was like, oh, Lewis likes thick meat. That's when you put the good night, everybody.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, we have a pig, a Vietnamese pot-bellied pig in our backyard. He's a pet. Cool as heck.
You named him
Make good bacon.
When we first got him, we were trying to figure out what name. Mom named him Pork Chop.
Pork chop. That's what it was. I knew it was a food.
I wanted to name him, and I told Mom this. Says, I think we should name him either Lou or Al. That way we can have a luau. And she,
I had a potbelly pig when I was a kid, and we named him the best thing ever for a hog. He was Harley.
Oh, really?
Now, the thing I've seen about the potbelly pigs is they don't stay little forever.
No, they don't. They get big.
no. We got, okay,
They're
the story was,
adorable and they're cuddly. So fuck you.
somebody has started this myth of miniature pigs. There is no such thing as a miniature pig. Okay,
No.
they all turn into hogs. Okay. And this girl bought one to keep in her apartment. It was, she bought it. It was the cute little piglet, and it quickly started growing. Problem is, her apartment had a limit on pets. It got over 40 pounds, so she couldn't keep it. She gave it to her mom. Her mom lives over here behind us. Now, our pug, we had a black pug. He got hit by a car. He had one of his legs was paralyzed after he got hit by the car. So we were trying to rehabilitate. So Mom started walking him around the neighborhood a little bit, just let him get out and exercise his leg, physical therapy kind of thing. And she managed to get all the way over to the other side of the neighborhood. And Mom doesn't see too good. So she yells for the pug, come on. and comes down, and she said, and he came down, and my dog went oink, you know. And what had happened was the lady was out on her front porch with this pig, which is black, and our pug, which is black. Our pug went up there to see that lady. The pig came down to see my mom. My mom couldn't tell the difference. She has since had eye surgery.
That would be a good wrong with my dog. It's winking.
Why's my dog winking? And her and that lady had the biggest. Well, the funny thing is the lady that let the pig out in the yard to do its business because it was housebroken. She would look out in the yard and saw our pug sitting there. Didn't realize it was the pug. She thought it was the pig, and kept yelling for the pug to come in the house. And our pug is friendly, so yes, he's trying to get in her house. Of course, he's got a gimpy leg, so he can't get up the stairs. And they had the biggest fun. They just sat there in the yard, had a big old time talking about how they got the wrong pet.
Oh,
Lewis, John, if you weren't my friend, eye surgery would not be the kind of surgery that I would be making jokes about.
Why not? She got her corneas replaced. That's actually kind of cool. She sees better than I do now.
Hey, have you, John, have you ever seen Final Destination 5?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it.
Have you ever seen Final Destination 5?
No.
Hmm.
You
need to see
a movie about everybody dying and they make a second one. There's just something wrong with that.
Well, not everybody dies in the first one.
They're supposed to.
Not everybody dies in the second one either. Everybody
Exactly.
starts dying in the third onward. Everybody dies. Fantastic. The character that, by the way, the character that survives the first one dies in the second one. If that makes you feel any better.
A little, yeah.
But no, you need to see Final Destination 5 specifically because there's a LASIK eye surgery scene and it fucking rules. It's one of the best.
Don't happen.
It is one of the best damn things. And you know what the best part about it is? It's not the scene itself. It's the FBI investigator afterwards who sits down next to the main characters and goes, there was about 9 different fail safes that had to go wrong in order for that machine to do what it did. Now, is one of you going to tell me what's going on? Like, basically just saying, like, I know you're not responsible for this. Something is going on, though. I'm not stupid. Now, explain it to me. I don't care how far-fetched it is. Because
there is no way.
Like the new you scene from Logan's Run.
But the thing is, LASIK lasers cannot do what that thing did. It's just impossible.
You know what the best part about that is, though, is that if you're watching that movie, you'll notice that the laser, the power of the laser is going up. It's going way up. By the time that the laser fires, it's powerful enough to damage the skin. If you look at the little meter, because it's like 50 milliwatts or something. It's fucking ridiculous, whatever it was. That's a good damn movie, by the way. I don't care what anyone says. It's a good movie.
Oh, and I understand why you don't want to watch Firestarter. Because I've seen it.
No, I want to. I want to watch it. But not Firestarter. Firestorm.
Yes, I know. I'm saying Firestarter.
Firestarter was third on my list.
Very low. It was very low on your list. So yeah,
it was third. It was third on my list. I'm gonna watch.
I thought it was second. I thought it was
Firestorm, Spontaneous Combustion, Firestarter, The Towering Inferno, and then Don't Go in the House. And here's the reason why Don't Go in the House is so low on the list. When I first read the plot synopsis for Don't Go in the House, I thought this is going to be rad because the plot synopsis is dude goes crazy, murders a bunch of people with a flamethrower, and that sounds cool. Then we watched the trailer, And I never saw anybody in the trailer with a flamethrower. That
may have been the punchline.
That disappointed
really.
the hell out of me.
The last 5 minutes of the film or something.
Exactly. So, but the other films, The Towering Inferno, I saw that as a kid. Not that was a pretty cool movie. So it's a really good Steve McQueen film. Then you got, but the other films, Firestarter, I haven't seen that since I was a kid either.
Yeah.
And Firestarter's an okay movie, but Spontaneous Combustion.
I would say okay.
Spontaneous Combustion is the same plot as Firestarter. The only difference is that instead of a little Drew Barrymore, you've got Brad Dourif, Academy Award nominee and voice of Chucky, Brad Dourif, playing pretty much a man losing his mind over having the ability to shoot flame out of his hands, right? And it's directed by Toby Hooper, who was the creator of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Spontaneous Combustion is like seriously an awesome movie, and I can't wait to watch it again. I hope it wins. But no, Firestorm is the one that I'm really super wanting to see more than any of the others, because I've never seen it before. And out of all of the movies on that list that I've never seen before, that one looks the most awesome because, again, a dude throws a chainsaw over his shoulder.
And he hit a shark
backwards with one arm while riding a motorcycle, right? He's riding a dirt bike through a forest fire and gets it to go through a fucking truck windshield. This movie looks, and it's got Howie Long in it. And I like Howie Long. I don't care what anyone says.
You know what movie I have not seen in a while?
Howie Long. Well, I just want to say this real quick, John. Howie Long is an all right football player, but he's an amazing actor.
He's a pretty good announcer too.
Yeah, he's
great. He's a great football announcer.
I don't know that he's a good actor, but he's a good personality, which makes up for it. He's got a strong presence.
90% of acting is charisma, and he's got that in spades, for sure. Yeah. He used to do infomercials, for products I would never buy.
Well, he's still doing Skechers commercials. And Howie Long's doing walk-in tubs and.
But no, I think Howie Long's a great actor though. Is
that Howie Long or is that?
I loved him in Broken Arrow, and John, I think you're right. I think Lewis is confused on the football player because
I think it's Tom Bradshaw.
Brady.
Harry Bradshaw's doing walk-in tubs.
Yeah, right.
Howie Long's doing Skechers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I misspoke, I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Maybe Skunk will know this one. There was a movie I used to see every year right around Thanksgiving, kind of like, Wizard of Oz. It would show up every year. Father Goose.
Yes.
With Cary Grant and Leslie Caron.
Cary Grant and Leslie.
I watched it last week, man.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's on CBS All Access.
I've got it in my hard drive. I love that.
No, actually, hold on.
But I was telling my mom's foster kids a couple years back about this movie. They said, "Oh, I'd like to see that." And I said, "Well, it should be on soon because this was right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
it should be on soon." And it did. We could never find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Walter.
And then a year went around. I had to do foster kids by then, and I noticed.
Yes, he was.
Still didn't show up.
Yes, he was, Carl.
This last Thanksgiving, Christmas, it didn't show up. So I guess that's why, is because it's now on CBS All Access, and you have to pay extra money to see the entertainment.
Chris, the difference in that is that Terry Bradshaw went on to the Masked Singer and kicked major ass. Terry's got a set of lungs on him. He could sing.
Father Goose plays on Pluto all the time. Pluto TV.
I want to bring up something related to that tangentially to Father Goose. Has anyone here besides me ever seen Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme?
Yes.
It's been a while. I don't remember what it was, but I know I've seen it.
I think I have.
Didn't it become a series?
I don't remember it becoming a series. I
I
remember
remember it being. Seems like I remember it being a series, kind of like Schoolhouse Rock.
No. It was never anything like that. Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme, which I saw it when I saw it on like HBO. We recorded it off of the TV. And it was a very weird, like it was made for network television sort of thing. Like I said, it was made for HBO or something. And it starred Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
And Gordon, the character of Gordon Goose, who was played by I'll look his name up real quick because I don't remember his name. Dan Gilroy. So it's Dan Gilroy played Gordon Goose, who is the son of Mother Goose. And the thing about it is that Mother Goose has gone missing, and all of the characters from the Mother Goose rhymes, all of the characters have gone missing. Right? That was the whole entire thing. They've all gone missing. And
oh my God.
They're all disappearing from the world. Right? And if you look this up, it's got an all-star cast.
It does. I'm looking at some of the stars right now. I'm amazed.
And so
ZZ Top played
Harry
the 3
Anderson.
men in the tub.
Harry Anderson was Peter Piper. You had Bobby Brown as the 3. Bobby Brown played all 3 blind mice. They make a joke about the fact that the mice are actually just colorblind. Woody Harrelson is the Lou the Lamb, with the Mary Had a Little Lamb. He's the lamb, which was hilarious because he's just like smoking a cigar the entire time. And then you had Debbie Harry, Cyndi Lauper, Little Richard, Howie Mandel, Cheech Marin,
Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon,
Yep.
Katie Seagal, Cheech Marin.
My absolute favorite person being involved in this was there was a very Kiss stylized metal band called The Dink, who the lead guitarist of was Dweezil Zappa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very damn good guitar player at that.
Stray Cats are involved. Gene Stapleton is involved. Gary Shandling is involved. There's a whole bunch. It's an all-star cast. This was a huge thing that Shelley Duvall put together, right? And it's a weird movie. It's very 80s, very trippy. It's very much the same guy who directed this film was the dude who did the Don't Come Around Here No More music video for Tom Petty. So you can imagine, like, it was very surreal. But it was really
Wasn't it an MTV thing?
No, it was HBO, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, HBO.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I watched it.
And
I'm trying
Lewis
to find
has
it.
something
I was thinking they actually did a weekly series on that, but I can't.
I don't remember a weekly series.
No,
My
Shelley
apologies,
Duvall.
John. I thought I had Father Goose. I have Operation Petticoat. Sorry.
That's a good one too.
It's an
Yes,
awesome
it is.
movie, especially with Tony Curtis and
Oh yeah.
I was watching Wackiest Ship in the Army.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Wackiest Ship in the Navy. Wackiest Ship in the Army was the one with
Army.
Jerry Lewis. No, one of them was with Jerry Lewis as the captain of the ship. The other one was with Jack Lemmon.
Oh, okay.
And the sailboat.
My
And,
favorite Jack Lemmon Navy movie is Mr. Roberts.
That's
And-
a good one.
and if you have Pluto TV, all these movies are on their classic movie channel.
Including Mother
Well,
Goose
I'm
Rock.
not Pluto, so
Probably.
I would doubt that. That's a weird movie.
Yeah, Chris, probably was.
At the time period, though, man, this was a really cool because, like, whenever they would do one of the rhymes, whenever they would do one of the rhymes in the show, like I said, it was Cyndi Lauper and ZZ Top and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Pia Zadora
God,
played
that's
Little
the name I
Miss
haven't heard
Muffet. Okay.
in 20 years.
And it was,
Oh,
I mean,
he was hot when she was younger.
It was super cool. The Three Blind Mice thing was one of the things I remembered from when I watched it when I was a kid, because the character of Gordon Goose, he walks into this room and it's just three blind mice, and they actually, Bobby Brown plays all three of the characters, and they rap the Three Blind Mice rap while the song, or the rhyme, they rap it while he's in there. And he even mentions, he was all like, I thought you guys were blind. And he goes, nah, we're not blind, we're colorblind. And the shot is done in black and white. And I'm like, oh, that's such a great joke. Right? It's a really weird movie. But the reason why I bring it up is he had mentioned Father Goose, and it reminded me of that. And I've been trying to get the SVC people to watch it, but it's that cheesy that they don't. The people from Scrub House don't even want to watch this movie. It's that cheesy. It's that cheesy and kitschy that they're just like, no. And I'm like, come on, Woody Harrelson is going to be dressed as a sheep smoking a cigar. It's weird. All right, what do you want to watch? Zombieland for the millionth time?
I actually sat down and watched the Laurel and Hardy version of Babes in Toyland a couple of weeks ago.
That exists?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's surreal. It really is. But it's basically if you took Laurel and Hardy and put them in a nursery rhyme, this is what you get.
What is the weirdest thing commercially sold that you've ever watched?
That I have ever watched?
Well, I mean, like all of us together. Like what we'll start with you, Dan, and we'll work our way around the room. What is the weirdest thing that was commercially sold? Not including any like weird bootleg videos that you got off a VHS tape that some guy had at his house. Okay? I don't want to hear about like weird pornos or anything like that. I mean, if it's a weird porno that was commercially released, that's fine. But you know what I mean? Like no homemade stuff. What was the weirdest thing you've ever seen that was commercially released?
Quite possibly Eraserhead.
That's a good answer.
Although Plan 9 from Outer Space is a good runner-up.
Lewis, do you have an answer for that question?
Not really. I mean, typically I'm kind of choosy, so if I know it's going to be stupid, I just won't waste my time.
I mean, I'm not saying stupid. I'm saying weird. Like it doesn't have to be stupid. You know,
No.
Pink Floyd's The Wall wasn't stupid, but it was certainly weird.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
It had a very important message.
Yeah.
But it wasn't weird. I mean, it was stupid. It was definitely weird.
Yeah.
Chris Walker said, "Morons from outer space."
Well, John, do you have an answer?
Forbidden Zone.
That's good.
The Danny Elfman thing.
Danny Elfman, yeah. The one where he's trying to do the Cab Calloway thing. It just came off super racist. My brother-in-law is really a big fan of that film, and I asked some people about it. I was like, where can I get a copy of this movie? And they're like, you can't. Danny Elfman doesn't want it to exist anymore. And I was like, why not? And they were like, because it was super racist. And I was like, well, now I have to get a copy of this.
Yeah, really?
Joe Dog, what do you have anything?
Weird movie?
It doesn't have to be a movie, just commercially released.
Yeah, could be a TV show, could be anything. I mean, the Star Wars Christmas special would technically qualify for this.
Okay,
Sure.
I'll go with that one.
Okay,
Is
never
that
mind.
your actual answer? Or?
Who kicked Dan out?
I think you did, but
He spoke that which was not to be spoken.
so a lot of people who know me would probably think that my answer would be The Wall, but it's not The Wall.
Battle Beyond the Stars was not.
I just
weird.
watched that last week.
No, I have the weird one for you. I have the weird one for you. The weirdest thing that I've ever seen has been Raggedy Ann and Andy: A Musical Adventure. Holy shit. That was from the 60s, and whoever made that movie was on meth acid. Because that was some.
So you're talking about the live action, not the animated.
The animated Raggedy Ann and Andy movie.
Okay.
The animated one. The one that looked like, I mean, if you've ever seen advertisements from the 60s, Dan, you lived through the 60s. You knew what I'm talking about.
And I actually remember them. So
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like the weird, like the king whose head grows bigger every time he laughs, and the weird blob thing that like consumed candy and love, and the giant teeth that came down randomly at no apparent reason. I don't know what the deal with the teeth was. That was a weird. And the dancing dolls that wanted to, the naked dancing dolls that spoke with French accents and wanted to know what anybody did anytime they did something. It was very creepy and weird. The whole entire, and the black and white, like weird checkerboard scene where they were like communicating in honks or whatever. That was bizarre. The whole fucking movie is weird. And it was definitely like, that movie made the Yellow Submarine look normal.
Yeah.
It was a fucking weird movie.
Okay.
But, it was the 60s. I mean, I get it.
Go
I've
for
got
it.
one.
No, wait a minute.
That
Are you
I
talking
thought
about
was
Raggedy
really
Ann
weird.
and Andy: A Musical Adventure?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Lewis, please. I want to hear what you got to say.
Oh, no, you got it.
One that was very, very weird when I first saw it when I was about 7 years old, but has grown on me over the years, and now it's one of my most favorite. But I kind of repressed that it was really weird to me when I first saw it. Fantasia.
Fantasia is very weird.
Have you ever seen Allegro non Troppo?
I tend to close my eyes and just listen to the music.
The thing with Fantasia is that there's only one bit of Fantasia that's even considerably anywhere near close to normal. And that is Mickey and the Brooms.
Yeah.
Everything outside of that, especially Night on Bald Mountain, is really fucking weird and disturbing and creepy.
Oh, and dude! I mean, when Night on Bald Mountain plays in Saturday Night Fever, when Night on Bald Mountain played, my then girlfriend had I'm like, Fantasia. That's where you remember that from. Except it's Night on Disco Mountain, but it was the same music. It was just with a disco beat. She was like, I've heard this before. I'm like, and then we completed our shagging in the back seat. We were watching it at a drive-in.
Hell yeah!
Y'all do realize that the demon from Night on Bald Mountain, they actually used Bela Lugosi as the model for the face of the thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with his permission.
With his permission. And it's really interesting is that the way that he is described, they don't describe him as the devil. He's not Satan. He's not Lucifer. He's not Beelzebub. He is simply a demon of some type, right? They make it very specific to say that. This is a Disney movie, and they don't want to weird people out too much, right?
Mm-hmm. Too late.
Now, have y'all ever heard of Allegro non Troppo?
Yeah, great piece of music.
I don't speak.
No, it's a parody of Fantasia. The same sort of thing, classical music with animation, but it's played as a comedy with the live action bits introducing the different classical music with the animation. Oh, you should. It's funny as all get out. It's like Hardware Wars for Star Wars fans.
I got something funny. I got something funny to say. You were talking about classical music put to animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can think of my favorite movie with classic music put to animation. Heavy Metal.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. The second one wasn't as good as the first one, though.
Heavy Metal 2000. I thought Heavy Metal 2000 was all right.
It was all right, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
No, the first one was great, especially the deal with the astronauts and the very beginning of the movie with the astronaut and the Corvette. And then there was the pilots. The deal with the pilots was awesome. The World War II pilots. That was cool too. I'm not a fan of Boob Lady. I'm not a fan of that whole entire. I know that they made a big parody. It was like the most famous part of that movie, and they made a parody of it on South Park. Not a fan of Boob Lady. I don't care about any of that stuff.
No,
did you guys see me burn the shit out of Fritz the other day?
No, what'd you say to
He was
Fritz?
talking about Ralph Bashki, and he mentioned the fact that he got his name specifically from Fritz the cat. Now it's just all like, I don't make the rules, Fritz. You're a furry.
Yeah.
If you like Fritz,
and then
the
somebody
cat,
come up with a clip
yourself.
from Wizards where they killed Fritz. They killed Fritz.
They killed Fritz. I'm okay.
I love
man.
that movie. I love that movie.
That's one of my partner's favorite films. They love Wizards. They made us sit there and watch Wizards, and I was sitting there the whole entire time just being all like, this is fantastic, but I don't feel like I've taken enough drugs to understand what the hell is going on in this film. It's a fucking weird movie. And
let me show you something that Mama showed me when you weren't around.
Anything that Ralph Bashki does is weird anyway, but that one is especially weird. I at least understood what was going on in Fritz the Cat. Wizards, I'm still fucking lost. I just like the way the animation flows because he's a very good artist.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember which came first. Was it Wizards or his version of Lord of the Rings?
I don't know, but we actually discussed that recently. Me and some other people, because we were making fun of it.
Animation styles overlap, so I don't know which one came first.
Because somebody put Bernie Sanders in his parka and COVID mask and everything, and the mittens, and everything he was wearing at the that famous picture they've been photoshopping and everything, and somebody put it into Ralph Bashki's Lord of the Rings. So I remember discussing that with somebody recently, but I don't remember.
Was it actually Lord of the Rings, or was it the Rankin Bass?
No, that was
Bashki. It was the Bashki one. It was the Bashki one because
you're right.
It was definitely that because all of the Hobbits' heads looked weird.
All the Hobbits were there, yeah. With the Rankin Bass with Orson Bean doing Frodo was did not have the rest of the crew, so it was just him with the dwarves.
I found out recently that Rankin Bass didn't just do stop motion animation, and I was very weirded out by that because I thought that's all they did, but apparently they did some actual traditional 2D animation as well.
Yeah, they did. They did lots of cell animation.
I didn't know that. I found that out recently, which is
actually
cool.
Their stop motion was more rare than their traditional animation.
Now, if you want to know something really messed up about rotoscope stuff, if you go back and look at the classic Disney animations, especially anything involving women, they Snow
White, Cinderella.
Yeah, they all use the same exact rotoscope animation frames for all of that stuff. Snow White, Cinderella, Maid Marian, they all dance exactly the same because they use the same exact rotoscope stuff to do all of that.
Actress. Yeah,
I'm thinking that that the people who did the animations over at Disney don't know how to animate women. They've been staring at men the entire time, which explains a lot.
Well, they already had the stock footage of the
exactly. They had already paid.
Come on,
it was cheap.
John, you are ruining a perfectly good joke right now, and I'd like you to stop.
Not really. No.
And they weren't looking at men; they were looking at animatronic mice.
John, I can make that joke all I want. I didn't
say you couldn't make
it. Okay.
You said it wasn't that funny.
Oh, fuck you.
But hey, you know why the Disney artists don't go to a lot of effort to do originality.
Well,
they're not getting paid
originally
for
they
it.
didn't.
That's why.
Originally they didn't. Nowadays, Disney, and I hate to say it because I hate to give them credit, but Disney in general is producing so much good stuff. And I hate to admit that because it means that Warner Brothers is dropping the ball. You're not trying, friends. You need to figure your shit out and bring us another Nightmare on Elm Street movie that doesn't suck. You own the rights to it, damn it. You bought New Line Cinema. Why are you going to buy New Line Cinema if you're just going to piss on the name? Motherfucker.
Hey, Skunk.
What?
If you could pick one writer or director to do a new Nightmare on Elm Street,
Currently?
Who would you get?
A writer-director combo?
Yeah, whichever. Somebody that could actually...
Right this minute.
Yeah. Oh, and Chris Walker brought up a good one. Disney or Pixar. Yes, it took Apple to make
Pixar.
Disney great again. Okay.
Pixar for sure on that one. Pixar does good stuff, and Disney does good stuff as well, but Pixar's consistent. Disney isn't. If I was going to pick somebody to do a Nightmare on Elm Street film right this second, if I had to pick anybody, I would say. Now, here's my question to you, John. Though, I want to clarify this: are we talking a writer director in one person, or a writer director combo, as in two people?
Whichever works.
Either or. However you want to get it. Who do you think should do it? Who do you think should make the next movie?
If this was your wet dream, who would you have it do?
Oh, if it was my wet dream, it'd be me. But if it can't be me,
I've already got the answer.
If it can't be me, I'm going to say Jordan Peele. I liked what he did with Get Out and Us, and I think that he is a champion of future horror for sure. If I could have anybody from the history of time ever, I would say I'd like Wes Craven to come back and do another one, but he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, not saying I'm saying Jordan Peele because I believe that Jordan Peele would do his best job. Right? Realistically, it's never going to go to Jordan Peele. I'd say Robert Englund. Robert Englund's a filmmaker. I don't think Robert Englund is as good of a writer. But he knows the character. He knows what's going on with it. I think if you gave him a script, he would do a good job with it. If I had a script writer, if I could pick a script writer, I would probably pick the person who did. I would say the person who did the second Unfriended movie, Unfriended Dark Web. They had some really good, clever twists and stuff in that film. I don't know if they're the same person that did the first one, but if they're whoever did the second one, or one of the people from the Happy Death Day movies, because they're really good too. I like them. That whole company is really good. They do a lot of weird shit. I like them.
You want to know who I'd like to see do the next Nightmare movie?
Sure.
Kevin Smith.
I don't know. Maybe, I'd be afraid of it being a bit cheesy because he does have
to do it really cheesy. Yeah, he do it really cheesy.
Hey, Freddy is cheese. Sorry.
He may actually. He could be interesting. I'll give that. I would look at the script. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't put him in charge of something like that. I wouldn't put him in charge of that project. Now, I'm not saying that.
Hey, Willow.
He can't do horror. I'm not saying that. He can definitely do horror. I saw Tusk. Tusk was disturbing, and it was great.
Exactly.
For that reason. And he did Red State. Red State was also disturbing. It was great. But I would stick him with I wouldn't stick him with an esoteric idea. Because he can't really do that very well. He's more grounded. Kevin is more grounded in reality. He does more realistic stuff. And I don't trust him very much with the supernatural. When
he might do that very good though, because Freddy was kind of humorous.
He was, but not the same kind of humor that Kevin does.
Yeah, Kevin might actually nail that. He might be.
I would say Jordan Peele and bring Kevin in for like script polish and shit like that.
I was going to say the two writers that I would think about be Neil Gaiman.
I would like to see Neil Gaiman do a Freddy comic, but not a film.
You don't think he'd do a good screenplay for that?
Not a screenplay. No, I would like to see him do a Freddy comic, because in comics you can do. Here's the great thing about comics. In comics, you can do things you can't do on film.
The other one I was thinking about who would be great is Clive Barker.
Clive Barker's take on Freddy would be disturbing, but not in a good way. I don't like
really.
that.
You don't.
No, because here's the thing with that. Let's remember that Freddy was originally characterized as child molester. They removed that in the first movie before it even got off the ground, because there was a lot of child molestation cases in Southern California at the time period. West didn't want to seem like he was capitalizing on that, right? He didn't want to seem like he was capitalizing on that. He wanted to come up with a more original thing. The idea of a person who only hunts children is way more disturbing if they're just killing them rather than raping them. The rape part is disturbing in an uncomfortable and not fun way. And Clive Barker has no qualms with doing that.
Yeah, Clive Barker.
Well, I mean, look at it. You know,
well, that's Stephen King.
It.
That's Stephen King. Yeah.
Well, Stephen King can get away with it. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't rape. That was consensual. It was just disturbing. Because why would you put that into a story? Stephen, you're a disturbing person. And I want to point out that 3 minutes ago, anybody could have done this that had control over the controls.
We know you like to punch that.
Just because I was the one who re-encoded the video and made it for StreamYard doesn't mean that I'm the one that likes to post it. Joe Doug could have done that 3 minutes ago. I didn't know what time it was. I've been drinking.
Yeah.
Well, we were in the middle of having serious discussion, so it wasn't really called.
Yeah, that's true too.
Ooh.
Now, anyway, I don't remember where we were before I played that video.
Wait a minute. How would Elvira do a Freddy film?
How would Elvira
You got me
do it?
confused. You got me confused, Willow.
How would Elvira do a Freddy
Cassandra
film?
Patterson would do a good. Yeah.
How would Elvira do it? With her tits out, of course.
Yep. All right, let's say goodnight, everybody. It's time.
By the way, just to point this out to Willow, Leanna Quigley was in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and she had her tits out. So there you go.
All right. So let's say goodnight, everybody. It's time.
I don't want to. You can't get me to, dog.
Yeah, we can.
It's the after party.
Yep.
Yeah, Joe, if you hit that button, you would make me do it, but you won't hit the button. You hit the button last time. You're not going to hit the button now.
Right.
I don't believe you.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.